First, I'd like to thank you for bringing this video, How to Soundproof Walls, 7 different ways, to over 1 million views, which is awesome. And figured in this video, I would go down the list and answer some of the most popular comments on how to soundproof walls from that video and other videos regarding soundproofing walls. Now, I will tell you that in the next 7 days of publishing this video, and probably a little bit more also, I'll be looking through all the comments, I'll be answering every single comment that you leave in this video, and also I'll make a follow-up video about how to soundproof walls, your questions. So leave questions in the comment section on how to soundproof walls, and also if you have any questions on just any type of soundproofing, leave them in the section below and I'll make sure to answer them, and also make follow-up videos on walls, doors, windows, and whatever. But before I answer these questions, I'd just like to point out that if you just reduce noise in the room by 3 decibels, that's it, 3 decibels, you're essentially cutting the noise in half. Reason I'm telling you this now is because when you implement soundproofing, you're probably going to implement more than one method. And just don't get discouraged if one of those methods only bring down the noise by, let's say, half a decibel or 1 decibel, because that's just one method. If you're adding more and more things into your soundproofing project, then you just add all of that up and you'll most likely have 3 decibels or maybe more, which would be awesome. Let's begin. So the first question is from Murphy. Are 2-inch thick acoustic panels effective for drywall? I even saw 4-inch thick panels. I live in an apartment and the walls are so thin. Well, the problem with living in an apartment is that you can't really make any changes to the wall. You can't really add mass. So this question actually comes in very often, and in the form of, can I use acoustic panels to essentially soundproof the wall? And the answer to that is no. You cannot use soundproof panels to soundproof the wall. The only thing that an acoustic panel will do, it will just make the room that you're in sound better. It'll help the acoustics in the room. So all of the sound waves that you're emanating are bouncing all over the wall, creating an echo. These will make those echoes disappear and make everything just sound better. It won't really help anything coming through the wall. So by placing some acoustic panels on the wall in hopes that you'll be blocking noise coming through, it just won't work. The reason for that also is that if you want to block noise coming through the wall, is you have to cover the entire wall. You can't just cover the wall with a few of the panels. So I went online, I actually looked to see if anybody ever really tried to add panels all over the wall to see if it actually would work, which, I mean, it's kind of a waste of money because these panels are about, well, $100 each. I mean, you can make your own for about $10 each if you buy the proper material. The video right there, if you actually want to learn how to make your own, they're not very difficult to make, trust me. But really the problem is, as I said, living in an apartment, there's not much that you can do to soundproof the wall. Now, some people often ask also is, can I hang curtains on the wall to stop the noise from coming through? Again, it will only make the noise inside your room not as annoying. It won't, if you're within that room and it sounds better, you will notice that the amount of decibels that you are creating did not actually go down. So no, you can't really use acoustic panels to soundproof the wall. Next question is from Justin. So I was thinking about adding a spray foam insulator down into a finished wall to try to soundproof my bathroom. Do you think that would also work? The problem with spray foam is a really good insulator for heat and cold, and it does a very, very poor job at blocking sound. It can actually make it worse, because if you decouple the wall, meaning you add a resilient channel, and what resilient channel does, it basically makes the drywall completely decoupled from the studs. So lower frequencies coming through the wall, meaning vibrational noise, that will be essentially snuffed out because of that air void. Those vibrations will not get to the drywall and will not transfer into the next room. And just imagine if somebody comes in after the resilient channel is installed and has the idea of adding some spray foam insulator because they heard somewheres that it's really good for soundproofing. That spray foam then expands outwards into the resilient channel, and now the wall is coupled again. So meaning that all of the work that you did for decoupling the wall is now completely useless. Spray foam is not very dense. It's not thick. It's just foam. It just expanded. It's an open cell insulator, and it just doesn't do a good job at insulating anything other than heat and cold, which is that's what it's for. It's not for soundproofing. So obviously this person does not live in an apartment because they're thinking of making alterations. Or maybe that's just an alteration that they can make that the landlord wouldn't notice. But it's an alteration that will waste your money and will not do anything to soundproof that wall in your bathroom. All right, so the next question is from Mr. Balloon Pimp. Do you have any advice on soundproofing a room to keep the noise from a loud motorcycle out? That type of question comes in quite often. The thing is, with those type of really loud noises, you kind of have to put mass on the wall and also decouple the wall, because those are low frequency noise. It vibrates and it just comes through mass just very easily. So to build, let's say he says that he wants to build a sound booth. Well, if you're going to build a sound booth within your room, make sure to have a double wall. If you have a double wall, meaning you have one wall and then another one and an air gap in between those two walls to help stop that low frequency noise. If you don't, let's say you're not building a sound booth and you just want to soundproof a wall that you want those types of high pitched noise not to come through, then it would be to use resilient channel to decouple the wall, because adding a second layer of drywall might help, but it won't be enough to really stop that motorcycle noise, those train noise, those airplane noise, those very loud but low frequency noise that just makes your house just vibrate. That air gap in the wall will help stop that vibration from coming through. Resilient channel will do an excellent job in doing that. If you don't want to install it yourself, so just make sure to ask the contractor if they've installed resilient channel before, and also to ask for references. Call up the people that they've done soundproofing work for and see if they're happy. And then once your resilient channel is installed, you install your drywall. And a little advice, do not just add half-inch drywall. If you're going to add drywall over resilient channel, even if you add 2 layers of drywall, add 5/8" drywall. At least the 5/8" drywall is a little bit thicker than the half-inch, and it will stop a lot more noise from coming through. And the difference in price is just a few dollars, so it is well worth upgrading from half-inch to 5/8" drywall. Now, one popular question that also comes through is, should I use a special soundproofing drywall? Well, soundproofing drywall does exist. It is a lot more expensive than the half and the 5/8" drywall, where the 5/8" drywall might be around $15 a sheet at some places. The soundproofing drywall, which is built differently, it's 2 layers of sheetrock with a layer of some type of acoustical compound in between the 2 layers. It all depends which brand that you buy from, but essentially that's what it is. It's 2 layers and another layer in the middle. But the thing is, these type of drywalls, they do work. However, they cost around $40 upwards a sheet. So you are paying quite a premium for that. But if you're only soundproofing a small area, just one wall or one ceiling, then yeah, if your budget allows it and you don't mind spending an extra $150, $200 on upgrading from 5/8" drywall to soundproofing drywall, then that would be the way to go. But if you have more, I would just use that $200 into another soundproofing product that would work better, which is mass-loaded vinyl. If you buy a roll of mass-loaded vinyl and sandwich that in between your 2 layers of drywall over top of the resilient channel, that will make a huge difference in soundproofing your room. Mass-loaded vinyl is very dense. It's a rubbery compound. It's thin, but it's super heavy. The one thing is, if you're going to install it yourself, make sure to install it with a friend, because it is super heavy and very hard to install by yourself. Another thing that resilient channel does really well is that it helps to stop vibrational noise from coming through. So if you already have decoupled the wall and added resilient channel, then whatever little vibration that is left that will come through, it will most likely be snuffed out by the mass-loaded vinyl. The only thing is, mass-loaded vinyl is quite expensive. It can run a few $100s a roll. However, between mass-loaded vinyl and soundproofing drywall, I would just go with the mass-loaded vinyl. You'll end up paying around the same price and much better soundproofed wall with the mass-loaded vinyl, the 2 layers of drywall, and the resilient channel than you would with just 1 layer of acoustical drywall. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you like this type of video where I just answer some of your questions, then let me know. As I said before, leaving a comment, everything with engagement on YouTube from the audience pushes videos out. So by you engaging with this video, it will tell me that this video is liked, and maybe I'll just do a second video a week by just answering some of your questions. If that's something that you want to watch, then leave a like, subscribe, and also leave a comment. If you don't have a question regarding soundproofing, but you like these types of videos, then just say thanks, and I'll say you're welcome.